And AJ, our last story. Oh, toxic fan time. Right. So we need to talk Star Wars because for the last few weeks, the Star Wars news has been gathering steam. You know, we've been talking about how James Mangold's got his new movie coming. Rey, Daisy Ridley is really happy about the Rey character being given a second lease of life and can't wait for the movie to get started. All PR stuff. We got something concrete here about what the next Star Wars movie is. I personally am very excited by it, but I'm sure there's going to be one little willy zit in some corner of the internet going, nyeh, nyeh, nyeh. But here's the full story about the official next Star Wars movie. May not mean much to you because I don't think you've watched The Mandalorian. Shame on you. It's very good. But here's the full story. Star Wars announces new movie titled The Mandalorian and Grogu from director Jon Favreau. Baby Yoda is headed to the big screen. Jon Favreau is directing a new Star Wars movie titled The Mandalorian and Grogu. It will go into production later this year. Favreau created the Disney Plus series The Mandalorian, which follows a helmet-wearing bounty hunter played by Pedro Pascal, who starts the show on the run to protect a young, adorable alien named Grogu, better known by fans as Baby Yoda. It is unclear where the upcoming film will fit into the timeline of the live-action series, which has aired 3 seasons and is currently in development on the 4th. I have loved telling stories set in the rich world that George Lucas created, Favreau said in a statement. Was it big? The prospect of bringing The Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen is extremely exciting. The Mandalorian and Grogu is the first Star Wars movie in the works, with momentum anyway, since 2019 Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, which grossed $1 billion globally and served as the grand conclusion to the original 9-chapter saga. New installments in the space opera series from director Patty Jenkins and Marvel producer Kevin Feige were announced but never came to fruition. In the time since, Star Wars has launched 2 more live-action TV shows in the Mandoverse, The Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka, plus the upcoming Skeleton Crew. Favreau will produce The Mandalorian and Grogu with Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy and Ahsoka creator Dave Filoni. As he offers guidance on the upcoming film, Filoni will also work on the 2nd season of Ahsoka starring Rosario Dawson. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have ushered into Star Wars 2 new and beloved characters, and this new story is a perfect fit for the big screen, Kennedy said. The Mandalorian and Grogu will lead Lucasfilm's upcoming feature-length development slate, including separate Star Wars films directed by Shameen Obaid-Chinoy, James Mangold, and Filoni himself. Though Disney's release calendar is constantly changing, an untitled Star Wars movie is scheduled for May 22nd, 2026. So we're not that far away. A separate movie set in a galaxy far, far away is set for December 18th, 2026, while a 3rd Star Wars adventure is opening on December 17th, 2027. Disney hasn't clarified the specifics of any of those movies. AJ, it seems we're 2 years out from the official next Star Wars movie, and it's crazy to think it's already been 5 years since The Rise of Skywalker. But your thoughts on... Yeah, that's mad, actually. 5 years since The Rise of Skywalker. That's actually insane. But your thoughts on a Jon Favreau directed Star Wars movie?
Where has the time gone?
Right.
That's a bit uncomfortable. Listen, Favreau is a director I have a lot of time and respect for. That's just standard procedure. Also, when it comes to The Mandalorian, though I've not seen it, I'm aware he is the creator of it, and I know there's a lot of love for it. What comes out within the Mandalorian universe is a different story. He doesn't. I don't want to say he doesn't miss. That would be a bit bold of a statement. But he hits more time than he misses. Put it that way. So I'm on board. I'm not gonna I can't wave the flag and jump up and down out of my seat like my esteemed colleague would, because I'm not that deep into the Star Wars verse itself. I've not even followed The Mandalorian, so it's going to be really hard to get overly excited in a story you can't follow. I've just about seen Boba Fett in the original trilogy, so like for that, there's not much for me to get gassed over. But I'm positive because of what we've got in place. It feels like if the creator of this said universe is at the helm of the first feature film, it feels like it's in the right groove. And I also really do believe one thing Favreau does, even though people may not appreciate either The Lion King or The Jungle Book, he very much tries to trade as true to source as possible. He likes to delve into a world. He likes to make it what it is. You could do that with all the stuff that he's done. So I'm happy with the director. That's the best angle I can take. And I'm not going to say much more really, because it just wouldn't be right. But thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll second that. Look, I know that there are quite a large group of people who are not happy. Some people even went as far as say, I hate it. Mandalorian season 3. It was definitely a step down in quality from season 1 and 2. Bad day at the office. Too much interference in the writing room. Moving on to other things. I don't care what the reasons were. What Favreau has proven, as AJ has just highlighted, is that he's, for us nerds and geeks, he's very good at knowing how to play and how to play nicely in our sandboxes. But Favreau is first and foremost a brilliant filmmaker and a brilliant auteur, a brilliant visionary. So he's very much someone who treads that balance perfectly, because he knows how to pay respect to the things that matter to people, but he knows that to make those things have credence and importance, you have to bring them to life. And in order to do that, you first and foremost have to be a good auteur, which he is a brilliant one. I think he's such a perfect candidate for a Star Wars movie. I can't tell you. I just look at what he did with the first Iron Man movie. He really knows what he's doing. And people will say the second Iron Man movie wasn't as good. Yeah, but it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't as good. I'm very, very excited for this. I don't know how you can't be. I'm sure there'll be some toxic little what's it down in the comment section who'll be upset about this. But I think this is great news. And the fact that we're 2 years away from the next Star Wars movie, I'm actually very curious to see how the fandom is going to react as we get closer and closer to the next Star Wars movie, because for all of the bravado about how the sequel trilogy is terrible, let's just remember that the reason that The Force Awakens remains the highest grossing movie ever for a domestic opening weekend at the US box office, which I don't think will ever be beaten. 250 million in a weekend. It's like, what? Like it's unfathomable numbers. The reason that film was so successful was because people were hurt by the prequels. That's the irony in all this, is that for all of the posturing about, oh, the prequels were so much better. Yeah, but the reason everyone rushed to The Force Awakens is because of the prequels were not so much better. It's because they sucked. And people were hurt and people were dying for good Star Wars. And they got it with The Force Awakens. Like, say what you will about how it panned out, they got what they wanted, which was a void in their heart filled by something good. Hell, man, even the Big Bang Theory made a joke about it when Leonard and Howard and all of them saw The Force Awakens for the first time. That scene afterwards when they're sitting there with Will Wheaton, even Star Trek boy goes, that was actually damn good. And all the nerds in Big Bang are like, oh. Like that sigh of relief that they breathed out, that was every Star Wars fan in the world going, oh, Jesus Christ, thank you, God. Then people started to get on social media and be cynical. Oh, it's a ripoff of this. It's inspired by that. It's a copy of this, yada, 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 yada. Most of which was true, but that didn't make the movie any less better. It was just a really fun, good time at the movie. And I do wonder if there's been enough time since The Rise of Skywalker came out and and The Last Jedi and split Star Wars fandom so badly, has enough time elapsed that people can get excited, allow themselves to get excited for Star Wars, an actual Star Wars movie, not just Star Wars content, but a Star Wars movie again. That I don't know. I think people are still gunning for Kathleen Kennedy. And I think until she's gone, which she is gone, Bob Iger said, that's it, that's the end of your tenure, but she still seems to be overseeing a few movies. I think until she's gone, the people who are the Star Wars fans who don't like Star Wars at the moment attribute everything that's wrong with Star Wars to her, but the recent wins are not attributed to her, as you've heard me and Den discuss before. It's very interesting. My big thing is, will people be excited for these movies? And my honest opinion is, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
I think Star Wars is Star Wars. It's kind of like your MCU. People are still going to make their way there. I know the Marvels isn't the best box office hit to prove that, but it took, yeah, exactly. But it took X amount of years before you get that kind of hit, and I think it's the same here. Like Star Wars fans will trash it, and yeah, they'll be there. But let's be honest, for every Star Wars fan that hates on Solo, you went to see Solo. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
No, they didn't. That's the thing. Solo bombed.
It bombed, but they've seen it one way or another. And I feel like now here's another part. And you know what? Maybe the fact that it is The Mandalorian means people are gonna like head out. They're gonna head out because it's something they've come to know and love. And if you follow the history books in the way that I have, you're like, oh, it's the guy who created it. He's gonna do it. Okay, we're in safe hands. It just takes a couple of box tickings to make it work.
It does. Winning cures everything. Winning cures everything.
It's weird because it's not main arc of it, which I'm kind of happy. Again, don't make another Skywalker, please. I know Rey's technically one, but do you get what I'm trying to say? It's side quest, which makes it a bit difficult. But Rogue One was a winner, so let's see what happens.
Rogue One was a winner box office and critically, and Solo was not a box office success, but I maintain with you was a good film. We'll see, man. I don't know. I think the Star Wars fans are more preoccupied with being angry at the moment by not getting the film that they want than accepting the film that they actually get and trying to find some enjoyment from it. It must be really bad to be one of those Star Wars fans right now. And, you know, if you need help, pick up the phone. And on that oh so cheerful yet dour note, that is the end of another episode of Silver Screen News. We will see you back here next week with more movie news. There probably won't be any Throwback Thursdays until February. I've looked at what's coming in the coming weeks, and it's graveyard cemetery boring. But yeah, we'll be back with more movie news next week. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hopefully by next week we will have hit that magic 12,000 number. Let's see and keep it going. But for me, Nico Liro,
and me, the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
We will see you next week. Bye for now, guys. See ya.